Open Your Eyes is brought to you by the Belize Bank, Our Country, Your Bank, and Smart, bringing people together.
Live from the GBM studios in Belize City, it's Open Your Eyes. Start your morning right with your hosts, April Martinez and Desani Caetano.
Good morning and welcome to Open Your Eyes.
Start your morning right.
I'm April Martinez.
And I am Isana Caetano. Good morning.
And good morning, Belize. Good morning,
Good
Isani.
morning,
Long
April
time
Martinez.
no see.
Man, you're a stranger.
Did you have a good weekend?
Yes. Relatively calm.
Relaxed. We're
But
at the end of
eventful
June.
nonetheless. Nothing to hype, nothing,
No.
Other than the heat. But I was out west this weekend.
Okay.
Yes.
You have to
Quite an
stay
interesting
home.
experience I had.
How was it comparable to in terms of like weather? Because I know we were in the south on Friday, and it was I feel like the rain never may end. It was very, very rainy.
Well, so I was in the Bullet Tree Falls area of Kaya district.
Okay.
Right? And at least for Saturday evening into Sunday morning, we had scattered showers.
Okay.
But that was good because it kind of, broke up the heat a little bit.
A little bit,
Out
yeah.
west could get really hot. You know how that goes.
I know. I know. I felt the difference immediately when I got into Belmopan. But as you know, Isani, we were in Dangriga for
Yes.
Summerfest, and it was a wonderful time. I think that it was the first time we ever took. I believe it's the first time we ever took Summerfest on the road. And I think that Dangriga was very, very grateful. I was giving, and you know how people go, right? I was giving Vianney a joke. I said, were there like timed and scheduled performances? Like, were they giving like a cup? Because once we start drum, we don't really have like a stop point, right?
Yeah.
And there were so many like medleys and so forth from various children from different schools. It was phenomenal to see the kids on stage, and I think that the town itself was so grateful for something like this to happen. Because like I said, it's never happened before, and to choose them first was, I think, even so, they were very, very grateful. There were parents out there, there were teachers, students. The mayor came out and he said a few words on stage. So it was remarkable. But I made a sweat after I done because we were dancing, we were singing, we were just having a great time with the kids.
I think the choice of going with Dangriga as the first stop for an on-the-road Summerfest was an excellent one.
Yeah.
Simply because while we've long looked at Dangriga as a culture capital, we focus primarily on adults and their engagement with culture and entertainment. So this one kind of put the spotlight on the kids, right? And the fact that, in my opinion, you have continuity.
Definitely.
So when you look at what the adults have been doing and being able to pass that on to their children, you see, behind me at this point, the costumes, you see, well, I wouldn't say costumes, the attire, right? You see the attire, and everything about it speaks culture. In this case, is Garifuna culture being featured.
Yeah, I really enjoyed it. I think that it also shows a lot of after-school recreational activities, because none of these children, I think maybe one or two, were there representing one school. The various bands and the various groups and so forth were all culminations of different schools coming together to create a performance. So I thought that was really, really cool too. But we just want to say thank you from the bottom of our hearts to Dan Griga for hosting us, for being so hospitable and welcoming to Summerfest. And I can't wait to see where we're taking Summerfest next year. But Isani,
Right.
we have a show lined up for our viewers this morning. It's Monday, and so we are going to kick off our first two conversations about disability awareness. Really, we're going to be understanding deaf blindness, how to support it, and how we as a society can find ways of including everybody in all spaces of society. And we're going to then go into our third conversation, from identity to industry, a conversation on youth and economics, empowering with CAB. And finally, we're going to be gearing up for KTV with the season 8 judges. So that's our Monday morning show for you guys.
All right, and for you guys at home, you want to know what's taking place? Here are 5 things that you need to know before you leave your homes this morning. So, San Pedro, man, there was a double murder in San Pedro over the weekend, and the community out there is still reeling after the murder of businessman David Harmouche, right? So we're going to get into a bit of that. We also have a question to ask you guys. Do you believe that it's too late for a Miss Belize Universe, Miss Universe Belize, to be crowned in July, right? And then, of course, we also got some sad news coming out of the region over the weekend with the passing of Oscar B. So we're going to be talking about his influence in soca, right? And, of course, on Friday, I believe it was either Friday or Thursday of last week, we had 100 new citizens being sworn in, right?
Yes.
And we're talking about inclusion and diversity, so we're going to get into that as well. And certainly, we're also going to be discussing a bit of KTV Remix Season 8, all right? So the season is nigh upon us, as we'd say, right? It starts tomorrow with the audition show. But let's get into our first conversation. So, I don't know, like, there are many times we've sat on this couch on a Monday morning, and instead of focusing on other news or other developments of a positive nature, we're here talking about crime and violence once again, right? And in this instance, it took place in San Pedro, right? Well-known businessman David Harmouche and 2 others, including his security guard, were gunned down. Now, I don't know, and I wouldn't want to speculate what may have been the motive, right? People are already theorizing what they believe took place there, but that's for the investigators to come forward and say. But Mr. Harmouche was a well-known businessman on the island, right? The Harmouche family, I should say. They have established a name for themselves in the business community out in San Pedro. And so I could only imagine, you know, employees, family members, friends, people who interact with Mr. Harmouche, how they're waking up this morning to this very, very unfortunate news.
Yeah. I'd just like to also say, Sani, that while him and his security guard have been pronounced dead, there is a 3rd victim that is critically injured, and he is in critical state, in the hospital. And so hopefully that they can revive him, hopefully that he is okay, and hopefully he can give some news or some insight to this tragedy.
Yes. So as I've mentioned, April, we'll get more details from this a little later on in the day. I know there will be a police press brief at some point today, but we also have a news team that's headed out to San Pedro this morning. And so we will do our own investigation into what led to this fatal triple shooting on the island. All right, so Miss Universe Belize, right? So we mentioned last week that the franchise has been bought by a Salvadoran concern, right? And they've chosen Destiny Wagner as the Belizean face of the Miss Universe Belize campaign. And I think we're off to a late start.
Yes.
But it may not necessarily be too late. I don't know much about the pageantry thing. I've sat on this couch numerous times to say that it's not really my cup of tea. But all that being said, if we could get some ladies who have what it takes
Yeah.
and we're able to, have a pageant to select who is going to represent us on the world stage in the upcoming Miss Universe cycle, then perhaps it's not too late.
I think I saw that you and Sabrina were having this discussion last week, and I think it was the start of the conversation was more along the lines of, it's no longer a Belizean-owned entity, but, we do have to give kudos to the Belizeans that first started the Miss Universe franchise. I believe when it was Destiny Arnold that was leading the franchise, I believe 3 or 4 years ago, when we saw faces like Ashley Lightburn go to Miss Universe and so forth. And so I think that when we do this comparable, I think we have to remember that this is progress in the making, right?
Yeah.
Franchises like Miss Universe competing in a global market does take a lot of investment, Isani. And sometimes in order for us to I guess, progress into this particular entity or organization or this global space, we have to pivot and collaborate with other people. But Belize isn't the first country to do that. You have other countries that have done it before. I think it's just to elevate us, and I think having somebody that like Destiny Wagner, who is a winner, all right, first ever made Belizean history of Miss Earth, to kind of lead the charge in this new era of Miss Universe Belize. I think we're going to be seeing some great things.
Let me ask you a quick question.
Sure.
What are your thoughts on pageantry as
So
a young Belizean woman?
I am not into the glitz and glam of it all, but as somebody that has understood the behind the scenes of pageantry, because I've been in the ins and outs of it, I definitely can appreciate all of the work that it takes to be a part of this space, because we only see the glitz and the glam as spectators, but there's a lot of hard work that these girls have to put themselves into. They have to make themselves almost look flawless in front of an international stage. And while I think that we've missed the point for the past decade, I think, in Belize about Miss Universe, it's supposed to be almost like an ambassadorship. Right? You're out there, you're representing the country, you're doing philanthropy, you are doing advocacy work and so forth in the name of Miss Universe Belize.
Do you believe that it transcends the beauty pageant, the beauty queen aspect of it, and is now being more social in a manner of speaking?
I think so. I think that, and I have to give kudos to our past queen, Bella Zabane, because she really did go out there and speak not just about the pageantry world in Belize, but talking about all of the other things it takes, not just to look a certain way, but the way that you have to speak, the way that you have to sit, the way that you have to have intricate thoughts and ideas about politics and global politics at that, global economics and so forth. Because when you go into other countries, you are entering an unknown space, so you have to do your research and you have to do your homework. But this franchise, it seems that they're calling for auditions. They're calling for persons to come in and try their luck, and they're also giving, I guess, the platform a space where girls can see what they're going to get if they enter, right? So they're talking about international opportunities. They're giving the space for a year paid contract for the next Miss Universe Belize. They're giving, world-class preparation. I'm assuming that's how you walk, how you talk, how you, do media interviews, the whole 9 yards. There's a cash prize. And then, of course, official applications are now open on the new Miss Universe Belize Facebook page and so forth. And official castings, I believe, is July 4th, which is this coming Saturday. And that's all day from 8 to 2 p.m. And so they're inviting persons, they're inviting girls to come out and show their luck. You no longer have to look a certain way, you no longer have to be a certain age. Moms can enter Miss Universe now, so it's definitely changed.
Well, when you talk about inclusivity, right?
Yes, absolutely.
So this is the platform where we've branched off from what it looked like many years ago to now, expanding to many different walks of life, so to speak, right?
Indeed.
Let me jump into the next conversation, though. So, I grew up on Byron Lee and the Dragonaires, right? And, certain names were staples in soca music. More so when those names became household here in Belize.
Yeah.
When Byron Lee and the Dragonaires used to visit for concerts and what have you. And among those names was Oscar B.
Yes.
Right? You can't think Byron Lee and the Dragonaires if you don't think certain people who are part of that band. And Oscar B, as one of the lead soca acts, you know, was one of those people. So he passed away over the weekend. And naturally, his home country of Trinidad and Tobago, they are mourning his passing, right? And of course, we here by extension are also mourning the passing of Oscar B. Now, from what I read, there was a benefit concert that had been organized, and I think it was either 24 hours after the concert that he passed away.
Yes.
Right? So it's rather unfortunate, right? But moving away from what befell him in terms of illness or what have you, and focusing primarily on his career in music, right? So, soca music is one of those unique genres that is native to this part of the world, right? To the Caribbean. And when you think soca, you can't help but think carnival, right? And so, in Trinidad, their carnival is perhaps the next big thing, if not the biggest thing, next to Rio and the Miami Carnival, right? So it's part of this whole African culture, right? But and out of it, or along with it, is the music. And so soca music has rooted itself within the region, and by extension, we here in Belize. The only thing that I'm saying though, and this is my gripe, soca music that all around everywhere else. But the Belize soca music is seasonal.
Really?
Right?
You think so? I listen to soca all the time.
I know so.
Okay.
Right? Why I'm saying that is because we only really take to soca music coming into September, right? But if you look at soca music in the round on a whole, Trinidad has carnival at a certain time of year. Barbados, Jamaica, and elsewhere.
That's true.
Soca music is being listened to all year round. Yeah. Right? And I'm also saying that because, man, we supposed to could say, well, okay, you know what? It's probably February and we could listen to soca music and include names like Oscar B in there, right?
Yeah.
And there's also this sort of, I wouldn't say a crossover, but it's hybridized, so to speak, between soca and calypso.
Something to that effect.
Sort of take it as one and the same sometimes.
Yeah.
Right? And so when you think Oscar B, you think Calypso Rose, you think Byron Lee and the Dragonaires, you think of all of these other artists who share that creative space when it comes to music, right? So, and I'm saying this because we're all mourning this passing. Right?
I have to say because I like soca music, I grew up, I listened to Oscar B for a long time. I'm think Oscar B Belizean. Because he was here all the time. He was always doing concerts and he was always collaborating with our Belizean artists here as well. And so for the longest, and when I heard him speak, I heard him in an interview for the first time, and I said, oh, that's a Trini accent. I was I think I think that it was one of those moments where kind of like Aurelio Martinez, where you spend so much time here that you've kind of adopted them into our own space, and you naturally believe that they're Belizean because there are certain Facebook pages right now that have put out with sympathies, with grave sympathies, and with a great heartache. We mourn Oscar B. There's a Facebook group for Belize for people to post photos of them at his concert and stuff like that. And so I have to say he was an honorary Belizean because he practically made Belize his home at one point.
Right.
Yes.
So next conversation, right? So this thing is like I'd say a cycle where every so often we have a cohort or a class of new Belizeans, right? And so last week we accepted 100 new citizens as part of the whole Belizean experience. People who have called themselves, or who are now calling themselves Belizeans, right? And you know, when I think of that, I think of what I refer to as the Belizean dream, right?
Yeah.
You have a lot of people who migrate elsewhere, and I'll use the United States as an example. You have a lot of people who migrate to the U.S. in search of or in pursuit of the American dream, right? To make good for yourself and your family and so on. But right here at home, there's the Belizean dream, right? When you think of all these people from Central America and other parts of the world who relocate to Belize and establish themselves here, they are pursuing and living the Belizean dream as well. So when you have, you know, people who naturalize, people who come and become, you know, productive members of our society, for me, it's a wonderful thing. The more the merrier,
Yeah.
right?
I have part of my heritage is from the diaspora, is from the Central America space. My grandparents migrated from Central America to Belize to seek a better life, and I used to ask my mom, like, you know, a lot of the rest of our family, you know, went to the States, went to Canada. Like, why did Grandpa choose Belize to make permanent? No, I genuinely wanted to know. Everybody else was going to all of these like first world nations at the time Belize was just developing, and my mom said that my grandfather just wanted the freedom to farm.
Yeah.
And he doesn't know if he would have gotten that in an industrial country like the United States and Canada. But more importantly, Belize wasn't just a dream, it was freedom. And I think that for a lot of, sorry, I get emotional when I talk about he, but for a lot of these Central American spaces and countries that are trying to find a new space, Belize is abundant in freedom and abundant in acceptance and inclusivity. And I don't know if Belizeans truly understand what we have to offer as our home to other people.
Watch out, we have a whole cultural mosaic.
Yes.
When you look at all the people from all different walks of life who are Belizeans, it's one of the, when we call it the melting pot, it's for a reason.
It is,
right?
and I don't know, and I know that whenever we think about immigrants, we often think about Central American people, but there are 22 countries, people from 22 countries that were sworn in last week. I believe there were some people from African nations, there were some people from Asian nations that came in, and of course Central and South America.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, so lastly, we're kicking off KTV, the Remix Season 8, tomorrow with the audition show, right?
Yes.
And then we go live next week.
This is how I know summer truly starts. Because I know while Summer Fest is for the kids and for the parents and the students, KTV is my like on the calendar of summer officially begins. Because we have an entire season. We spend almost the entire month of July with the show, and people are just all over social media talking about their favorite artists that are on the show or their contestants, sorry, and just really hyping up KTV. But this is KTV Superstar.
So the auditions were held a while back.
Yes,
right?
a couple weeks ago, I believe.
And while this production for tomorrow is not a live production, we have a lot of new faces and some return faces, right? And of course, these people are going to be trying out a thing as the weeks progress, right? But as we've mentioned, April, it's something to look forward to. It is indeed the summer months, and if you want to do something on a Tuesday night, then we encourage you to come on out to the Bliss every Tuesday going forward for the next 8 weeks or so. We're going to be having this contest of talent, right? And of course, if you're not part of it, you want to be a part of the viewership, you can do that by joining the live audience at the Bliss or catching us live on 5. And of course, there's a whole voting process that we encourage you to get into as well.
Wonderful, but we're looking forward to this audition show. All right, Isani, we have a jam-packed show lined up for our viewers, and so what we're going to do right now is we're going to take a quick break, and when we return, it's all about understanding deaf blindness, awareness, support, and inclusion. You don't want to miss that conversation. We'll be right back.
Introducing BB Insurance. Built for Belize. Your security, our priority.
When your baby feels comfortable, you feel confident. Because every little moment deserves protection you can trust. Kushkin's diapers are designed with ultra-absorbent layers that lock in leaks while staying soft, dry, and gentle on delicate skin. So your baby can play freely, and you can enjoy every smile without worry. Kushkin's diapers, comfort they feel, protection you trust. Kushkin's diapers and wipes are available countrywide at a supermarket near you.
The biggest football event in the world is finally here, and Smart is giving you the chance to play and win. Before every match starts, predict who will win. The more predictions you make, the more chances you have to win. Get 1 point towards your total when you guess the winning team. Predict the exact score and earn up to 4 points. The top scorer at the conclusion of the World Cup wins the grand prize of $2,500 in cash. That's not all. Players get a chance to win weekly prizes. Plus, our quarter-final winner gets a watch party package. Play directly in the Smart app for just 50 cents per entry. Prediction starts June 1st to July 18, 2026. Don't just watch the World Cup. Play along and win with Smart. Smart, bringing people together.
The next station is not just a place. It's the vacation capital of the world, Mexican Caribbean. Do you know why we are the capital of vacations? Because no other place on earth brings together so many ways to vacation in one single destination. Every vacation imaginable. Mexican Caribbean, the vacation capital.
He skipped nights out, said maybe next time too often. Ramen became a lifestyle, all for this moment, his first car. Protect what you've worked for with RF&G Motor Insurance.
Running a business means every dollar counts.
As a business owner, you face different challenges every day. You need cash flow on hand as soon as you can.
With Belize Bank's same-day settlement, transactions settled by 4 p.m. are credited the very same night.
The same-day settlement will definitely make a difference for my business because I know I have money in the bank so I can pay my suppliers, my staff, etc.
Faster access to your funds, better cash flow, greater control. And with auto settlement, it's done for you every day. Same-day settlement from Belize Bank. Our country, your bank.
Some hands do more than carry. They prepare, they fix, they comfort. They keep a home moving in ways few people notice. And even when the day is done, they are still thinking of home. For the months of May and June, we celebrate the hands that hold the home together, offering you 25% off on tiles, lights, fans, ACs, gardening supplies, and more, both in-store and online. Thank you, moms and dads, from Builders Hardware.
Money travels fast, so make sure you check it before you spend it. Here are 4 easy ways to know your money is real. Look, feel, tilt, and check. Look closely at your note by holding it to the light to see the watermark and the note value. Notice how the see-through image completes itself perfectly. Feel for authenticity. Run your fingers over the raised portrait and the bars on the edges. 1 bar for the $2 and up to 6 bars for the $100. Tilt the note to see the hidden value appear. Look for the moving images on the security thread and holographic shimmer on higher denominations. Check closely. Use UV light or a magnifying glass to find hidden images and microtext. Remember, handling counterfeit money is illegal. If you spot a fake, report it to the police immediately. Look, feel, tilt, and check. know your money. Check it before you spend it. A message from the Central Bank of Belize.
If you're into news production, if you've got a sharp eye for what audiences care about, think quickly on your feet, and you're a strong writer, this could be your way into digital media. Greater Belize Media is looking for a digital associate. It's an entry-level, full-time position, and your chance to get hands-on experience in journalism and digital storytelling. Bring the energy, the curiosity, and the willingness to learn and work flexible shifts in a fast-paced media environment. Apply now by sending your CV and cover letter to gbtv@btl.net by July 1st, 2026.
He skipped nights out, said maybe next time too often. Ramen became a lifestyle, all for this moment, his first car. Protect what you've worked for with RF&G Motor Insurance.
Ever had your card declined? Now it doesn't have to be. Introducing partial authorization. If the card doesn't cover the full amount, it notifies you what's available. You can accept the partial payment and pay the missing balance with a credit card or cash. No decline. Get what you came for. Partial authorization now available. Belize Bank, our country, your bank.
He skipped nights, said maybe next time too often. Ramen became a lifestyle, all for this moment, his first car. Protect what you've worked for with RF&G Motor Insurance.
The wait is over. KTV is back and bigger than ever. Get ready for the KTV The Remix Season 8 premiere audition show on Tuesday, June 30th at 8 p.m. Who will impress the judges? Who will earn a golden opportunity to move on to night one? And who has what it takes to become Belize's next KTV superstar? From powerful vocals to unforgettable performances, the journey begins with the auditions. Don't miss the premiere of KTV The Remix Season 8, the audition show, Tuesday, June 30th at 8 p.m. One stage, one dream, one chance to call yourself the KTV champion. Only on Great.
And welcome back. Our first conversation this morning is all about visual impairedness, the awareness, the support, and the inclusion of persons who are living with visual impairedness as a disability. In studio with us this morning is Maria Cal. She is visually impaired. Good morning, Maria.
Good morning. Thank you for having me.
Thank you for being
here. And Maria is joined this morning by an ophthalmologist from the Belize Council for the Visual Impaired. We have with us Kyria Mayen this morning as well.
Hi,
good morning,
Good
ladies.
morning. Thank you.
Let's begin with your story, Maria. I think it's one that is important for our audience to understand who you are, where you're from, and how you're battling the challenge or living with the challenges of being visually impaired.
Okay, well, to make a very long story short, my name is Maria Cal. I was born this way. I was born with retinopathy of prematurity. I was born a few months earlier than expected, so my retina wasn't fully developed. Though being blind, I still live a literal normal life. I went to preschool. The support of BCVI was there from the beginning. They taught me how to read Braille, how to write in Braille, how to use my cane. So that made navigating life a lot easier. I went to primary school. I didn't have any aides or personal assistants throughout like being in the classroom with me. I was on my own.
Which primary school did you attend?
I attended St. Ignatius, and then
Nice.
Yes, sir. I also moved to Cayo for the last 2 years. I was then when I moved to high school, I graduated from Palote High School. I was very fortunate to have supportive teachers, and I made friends. I sat my PSC and my CXC examinations. I did all of them. I had support from Mr. Evan Kowal from the Inspiration Center. He worked with BCVI for quite some time. He was my reader for both exams. Ministry of Education, I give them credit. They never changed the exam for me at all. I sat the regular exam as everybody else. I sing. I love music. It's what I do during my free time. I rode horses at a point in time. When I went to sixth form, I know before, even with the pandemic, during the COVID times, and then when I was in SJC, I did my studies independently. I have a screen reader called Non-Visual Desktop Access. It's on my computer, and I am able to take down notes. I'm able to complete tests and assignments. Before, when I was in primary school, I would have my tests kind of read out to me. My teachers would read the test to me, and then I would give them the answers. They'd write whatever I tell them, and then when we were in COVID, and then throughout my years of sixth form, I was able to use my laptop to take down notes in a Word document, because everything I touch, everything I type, it reads out to me. I was able to do my tests. My teachers would send me my tests and my exams, and I'd be able to complete them in class. My screen would be wide open so they could see everything. And I am very thankful to all the teachers and the staff there at St. John's College. I recently graduated with my associate degree in liberal arts.
Congratulations.
Thank you. And I am about to enter university this August. I finally registered for my classes, and I couldn't have done it without SJC continuing to open their doors for me. So, and of course, have to thank the Lord. I'm a devoted Christian. Jesus is literally my guiding force throughout life's challenges. And so I could not have made it through any of this without Jesus. I was in Parliament in my years of high school. In my fourth year, I was in the Parliament advocating for youth with disabilities. My advocacy continued. I prepared for that. My aunt, my family, I participated in everything with their support. I was in the camp there. I did my debate. Of course, I used my computer and my phone for research. And when I went up there, I had my speech there in Braille in case I needed it, but I was able to recite it from memory.
Let me pause you for a second. Yes, let me pause you for a second here, Maria. So, I'm impressed by what you've been able to accomplish so far in your life. And what I want to know from you, what are your personal and professional ambitions?
Well, personal ambitions, I do hope to, become a better citizen of society, do more for Belize. I hope to kind of, I just hope to be a positive impact in the lives of those I encounter. I hope to have my own home, my own life, and become more independent. Professionally, I do hope to enter the workforce soon. I do love helping people, as I said, so I hope that I can enter somewhere within human services or social work. I just love helping people and making an impact, so I hope to enter the workforce soon, very soon.
Dr. Mayan, I would like to invite you in on the conversation because I imagine that you do have a very professional relationship with Maria. As an ophthalmologist, how often do you see cases like Maria, and how do you communicate a case like this to parents, and how do you guide them for support?
Okay, so our role as ophthalmologists is first of all to be able to help in the diagnosis of the patients, to try to understand blindness as is. There's a clear misconception about blindness that sometimes these clients, these patients are not able to see anything at all. On the contrary, some of them have light perception, some of them can see hand movement, others have very blurred vision or very blurred central vision. In Maria's case, she had her retina was affected from birth, so thereby her growth and development when it comes to eyesight was different than that of a child that did not have these things happening during birth. However, it's not only the ophthalmologist roles at BCVI. We have a great team whereby we have field officers, we have the aid of counseling as well, to be able to integrate parents in being able to have some tools that will help them throughout the life of their child. So it's when it comes to diseases whereby we cannot prevent or treat the blindness, as in Maria's case, we're able from a young age to give them the rehabilitation they need. And we also have a low vision clinic whereby they're given some visual aids as well. In her case, also some voiceover tools in her computer and all of that. And it's very important to educate the parents when it comes to patients with low vision or blindness, whereby they understand that their child doesn't have a limitation as is. And it's basically that, giving them the tools to help them develop and be as inspiring as Maria is.
Maria, you're considered an activist. In the eyes of many youth activists, your statement in the Children's Parliament really created a difference into, ensuring that this disability bill was pushed into legislation. So I give you all the kudos in the world for that. But after all of that hard work, do you think that there is more work that needs to be done? I know you have a supportive family, I know you have supportive friends, but do you think that you're supported by society in general?
Well, of course, there's a lot that Belize, still has to work on, and like the infrastructure. Sometimes my aunt and uncle, they kind of fear that my safety is affected because there's just limited awareness out there, I feel like. And I know that with time, Belize is growing and is getting better. So yes, I do think that there's a lot still to be done, more awareness, the infrastructure and the way that can help us within Belize so that we can navigate within our country more independently and more freely without that fear. But I know with time Belize will get better, and I'm sure that in the future we will have some more some more things that will help us to move freely and stuff.
What are your thoughts, or what have been your experiences with inclusion and inclusivity in terms of perhaps being a part of some movement, or in terms of being at school? In this case, it's your academic pursuits. How has that been for you in terms of your relationships with other students, them being able to accept you for who you are as an individual?
Of course, being blind, it was hard a little bit at first because students were hesitant to kind of approach, and they were a bit confused, like, okay, what do I do here? How do I talk to her? But for me, I think the secret for me is that I had to kind of be the one that spoke first and kind of interact with them. And once they saw that, they were able to interact with me. I have amazing friendships that long-lasting friendships, emotional connections with friends and teachers that will last a lifetime. So I feel like for me, especially there, like in sixth form, high school and sixth form, and in my community with the parliament, it wasn't something that it was only, I felt like they just took me in. Even when I did job training with NCFC for 2 weeks, I felt wanted, I felt respected. And so for me, I think the main thing was for me to really be a little vocal and to speak and to let them know that, I'm just like everyone else. I'm normal, so they were able to talk to me and loosen up.
Yeah, I think that comes a lot though with us, like you said, Dr. Us as a society not necessarily understanding what it is, and there's so many different misconceptions, there's so many varieties of to being blind. I don't know if the general public thinks about persons with different abilities. Whenever, like Maria said, whenever we're building infrastructure, whenever we are organizing a space, I don't know if the general public thinks about persons with different abilities. How do we make sure that we include everybody?
Okay, well, we can start with awareness, like what Maria mentioned. A lot of persons are not aware of certain aspects of the disability. Like Maria said, we're not here to set limitations because every child born will be able to develop. And even if there is a disability such as blindness, we cannot just set a limitation and say, well, okay, we don't expect them to do certain things in life. On the contrary, all of them are able to develop, grow up, be active members of society, equal members in society, which is part of the vision of BCVI. And it all starts with being aware. So like Maria said, she had some colleagues that were didn't know how to interact with her. But it's just a matter of us understanding that blindness as a disability does not make the person unable to carry out everything on a daily basis. They're able to do everything that we can. There are only certain things that we may be able to facilitate. For example, there is this option whereby we have the canes that they would normally use to be able to mobilize themselves more freely and more openly. Maybe, like for example, having a stop sign whereby we can have certain things on the pedestrian ramps or on the sidewalks that helps them to be able to understand where they are and everything. I mean, our field officers do a lot of work when it comes to education and all of that with parents. And at BCVI, we try to make the public aware as well. We have our annual camps. We have educational support as well, like the Braille system. Recently, we had some Leo Cubs come by to be able to understand everything that goes on in the clinic, as well as be aware of persons with blindness as a disability. But I think it starts at awareness, and then it just goes from there. And it starts with basically just knowing, not like you said, really understanding, but knowing that persons with blindness do not have any limitations. It's society sometimes that would set the limitations for them.
True.
Let's go back a bit here, Kyria. Your academic pursuits clearly took you to science, right?
Yes.
What made you decide on ophthalmology, and how did you pair that now with activism?
Okay, when it comes to my professional pursuit into ophthalmology, it's something I fell in love with in medical school. It's not something that we often hear outside, or any doctors that say, I would want to study ophthalmology. But it went hand in hand with vision. So my journey into it was trying to preserve vision. But along my studies, I encountered that sometimes vision cannot be preserved, and there are persons that would be irrevocably blind. So therefore, during my training, I trained in Guatemala at Comité Pro Ciegos y Sordos, which is basically a committee whereby they have been years in practice, and they do have a very huge rehabilitation program in Guatemala. So during my studies, I was able to encounter all rehabilitation and everything that had to do with persons that are irrevocably blind. And that aspect changed also my mentality on just trying to preserve vision, but actually partake in a little bit more of like rehabilitation. So being a BCVI, which has a clear vision of trying to help everyone to be members of part of society, it just it just pushes me a little bit closer to persons like that have this disability, but also to trying them and try to help them out in order to not be set with limitations in society as well.
Yeah, I want to bring Maria back into the conversation because you said you ride horses.
Yeah.
and it brought me back to another person that I know that is also blind, that he did like Victoria Peak and he did the Blue Hole and all of these things. Are you an adventure girly?
It really all depends. I rode horses back when I was a bit younger. Okay. It wasn't something I did often. It was just like an experience. I'm always up for something new though. You know, I love adventure. I do love exploring, doing new things. I feel like if I don't do that, then I will never, unlock things that I might like.
Yeah, experiencing life, so, really.
Yes,
there was a video that was showing just now of you typing on the computer. Even us folks that can see can't really navigate one keypad that well. Please tell us how you're able and managing to do that, because you talked about being in school during COVID and so forth.
Yes, as I had mentioned before, I have a program on it called Non-Visual Desktop Access, and so my computer is a regular computer. Sighted people can use it. It's just that whenever NVDA is on, I am able to know what I'm doing because it reads everything that I'm touching, everything that I'm typing. And also it's just me, you just have to kind of learn the keyboard,
Yeah, indeed, that's remarkable.
Let me jump in here quickly. So you also caught my attention when you mentioned that music is one of your favorite things to do in your off time, right?
Yes, sir.
You listen, you play. What's your involvement with music?
I sing. I was actually on an old singing competition. I think News 5 posted was called "If You Can Sing It, Bring It."
Yes. Oh yes!
Yes, I was 7 years old.
Wow!
And I still sing now. I still sing. I'm in my school's choir. I love music so much. It's actually how I connect and how I communicate sometimes. When I'm feeling upset or any emotion, really happy, I go to music. It's just my number one.
I love that. You said
we share something in common.
Yes, indeed. You said that you're hoping to pursue psychology for your undergraduate. Why did you choose that?
I'm very interested in the human mind, and typically, specifically more child psychology. I feel like I want to understand human emotions, and I think it ties into my career path too, because I do want to help families and children be somewhere within the human services sector. So pursuing psychology for me is just like that open door where I can understand more, connect more with the people around me, and maybe hopefully someday I can venture into that as my career.
Yeah. As we're wrapping up our conversation this morning, Maria, I'll give you the opportunity to maybe give a message to our viewers and how they can support other persons with different abilities.
Okay, well, to society, to families, to friends, all we need, right, to be completely honest, is the support from you, the opportunities, the open doors. We are with different abilities, but we just need the adaptations and the support, and we're able to thrive, we're able to succeed. It just takes, the support, those opportunities from the people around us. And for those with the different disabilities, it's going to take some time. It's going to be some hard days, but I encourage you that, you're not limited. Don't limit yourself. There will be some times when you will need to do things a bit differently, some adaptations that will be needed, but you can live a normal life. You can live a life to the fullest. You know, it's not something that you should limit yourself to. So I think that's my message.
Thank you. And Dr. If persons want to volunteer or contact BCVI for any services, how can they do so?
Yes, they can reach out to any of our offices. We have our primary eye care clinics in every district. We have in PG, we have in Dangriga, Belmopan, as well as Orange Walk. And here we have our primary and secondary eye clinic in Belize City, right, Princess Margaret Drive, right next to KHMH. And you can contact our numbers, you can contact us via Facebook, via email as well, in order to be part of BCVI as a volunteer. We have our annual summer camps. I'm sure Maria has been to most of them. And we're open to receiving anyone that wants to volunteer and wants to learn more and be able to help in our outreach programs as well as with our summer camp.
Wonderful. Ladies, thank you so much for joining us this morning.
Thank you for having us.
We are going to take a commercial break, and we're going to come back. We're going to switch gears into the Belize Defense Force recruitment drive. So you don't want to miss that conversation. We'll be right back.
The wait is over. KTV is back and bigger than ever. Get ready for the KTV The Remix Season 8 premiere audition show on Tuesday, June 30th at 8 p.m. Who will impress the judges? Who will earn a golden opportunity to move on to night one? And who has what it takes to become Belize's next KTV superstar? From powerful vocals to unforgettable performances, the journey begins with the auditions. Don't miss the premiere of KTV The Remix Season 8, the audition show, Tuesday, June 30th at 8 p.m. One stage, one dream, one chance to call yourself the KTV champion. Only on Greater Belize Media.
The next station is not just a place, it's the vacation capital of the world. Mexican Caribbean, the vacation capital.
He skipped nights out, said maybe next time too often. Ramen became a lifestyle, all for this moment, his first car. Protect what you've worked for with RF&G Motor Insurance.
Life moves fast. Your connection should keep up. Need more credit? More data? A flex bundle that fits your lifestyle? With Smart Prepaid, they're a prepaid option for every lifestyle and budget, making it easy to stay connected wherever you are. Because with Smart Prepaid, you can connect on your terms. Purchase credit, data, flex bundles, prepaid plans, and all your favorite prepaid services at any Smart agent, Smart showroom, or simply dial *100 key. No stress, no waiting. Just fast, easy, convenient ways to stay connected every day. Smart Prepaid. Connect on your terms.
And welcome back. Joining us for our second conversation are some friends from the Belize Defense Force as we discuss the BDF recruitment drive. On the couch, we have with us Captain Claudio Quiros. Good morning.
Good morning.
And Lance Corporal Billy Godinez. Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning.
All right, let's talk about the Belize Defense Force recruitment drive and how you all are, I guess, inspiring young men to be a part of BDF. Let's start with you, Captain Quiros.
Good morning. So, young men and young women
to
join the Belize Defense Force.
Yes.
So, the Belize Defense Force intends to have another recruit intake later this year. And so, we are now initiating that process by launching the call to the community, to young men and women who would consider themselves aspirants, would like to join the Belize Defense Force for whatever reason, and explain the process. And that process initiates with that the flyer that's on the Belize Defense Force page. There's a QR code there and a link if the QR code for whatever reason does not work. So scan the code. It will prompt the candidate, the aspirant, to sign in with a Gmail account. Once in, an online form will appear. They fill that out, submit the information that's requested, including pictures of Social Security, police record or a receipt of, and pictures of academic qualifications. Once the form is complete, they submit, they get a confirmatory email, and then they prepare for July 11th. That's a big day. July the 11th, we will have recruiting stations countrywide, seven of them. And so the aspirants report to the nearest recruiting station. Their information will be there. They need to come prepared to sit an aptitude test. They need to come prepared to sit a physical test, and this is just an assessment for us to have an appreciation of what the starting point of the aspirants are. And they will also be filling out a medical and a psychological pre-screening. And then after the 11th July, we go ahead and shortlist. So based on the quantity of, we'll go ahead shortlist, and we will communicate. We will reach out to the aspirants who have been shortlisted to have them come in to get their actual medicals and psychological assessment done before reporting to training.
Beyond those particular requirements, what are you looking for in terms of certain qualities or attributes from these men and women who would be interested in enlisting?
So the principal qualities that we're looking for from the aspirants, apart from the ones listed, we're looking for young men and women who are self-driven, they're motivated. The Defense Force is in a process now where training is important. We're diversifying the type of training as well. We have been doing a lot of work in terms of the specializations that we have within the force. So they need to be, these candidates, we want them to be hungry for more. That's the key of it. That's the main thing. The Defense Force is, and if you're not that motivated to study, do not be afraid, still come. The climate will, I'm sure, drive you to want to do that, because that's how it is in the Defense Force these days. It's one of the very few places where you are encouraged to, you're almost required to work and study throughout the entirety of your career.
Yeah. I have the question for both of you gentlemen. Why did you both join the Belize Defense Force, and why should people join? Let's start with you, Lance Corporal.
Good morning once again. So this is not something that just came to me like in my adulthood days, but as a teenager or a kid, I was in the Belize Defense Force Youth Cadet Corps.
Okay.
So I started there. I was somewhere around 2012. I did 3 years. I reached a rank of a sergeant. So back then I noticed that I had a knack for it. Then I went on to high school, did sixth form, graduated, and in 2020 I just had like this calling, because it was not just going to the forest, but also doing something that I love, because I also picked up an interest in music during my high school years. Because I'm here today to represent the band. That's my role today. I'm here to represent the band and to speak about the recruitment when it comes to band members.
Okay.
So that's the reason why I joined, because had an interest from when I was a kid. I pretty much excelled when I was there, and as you can see, many years after, I'm doing that, which was something I loved, coupled with something like music.
Right.
Because that's one of the major. Well, that's a major part of my taskings in the BDF, providing musical assistance.
What about you, Captain?
Okay, so just before I go on and explain my my story, I'd just like to point out that the band is we're also in addition to recruiting soldiers for the infantry and the other specializations, the band is also doing a recruitment simultaneously, and there's a second flyer on the Belize Defense Force page which has a separate QR code which would take aspirants for the band to a separate.
So if I decide I'm going to apply, I want to join the BDF, I don't get to choose while I'm there. I apply separately for the band.
For the band only.
Okay.
For other aspirants who want to go the more traditional route, they will use the main flyer, the main QR code. That's not to say that if someone mixes it up, we can't sort it out afterwards. By all means, still, if you're not quite sure, get it done. When you come to the recruiting station on the 11th of July, raise your hand and say that I made a mistake. This is what I'm really trying to do, and we'll correct it then and there.
The band, being a part of the band, I imagine you have to come already with musical skills.
I just want to add on that, on what the captain said. The process is basically the same, and as he rightly mentioned, it's a separate QR code. Just that it has stuff like you upload a virtual video, on and you show the level of skill you have.
Okay.
So once you upload that video, the same thing, all information, passport, what's not, the Gmail. Once you upload that information and the assessor sees fit that you have the level of skill that is required, then they will ask you to come for a one-on-one interview. And they will assess the same thing like aptitude and turnout and bearing and stuff like that, because at the end of the day, yes, we are musicians, but the uniform comes first. That's the main focus that we are always focusing on. That yes, we are musicians, but that doesn't take away the fact that we are soldiers as well.
You have to train like a soldier still.
We are soldiers still at the end of the day. At this particular point, we are looking for people who can play low brass instruments.
What does that mean?
Anything from a saxophone, trombone, euphonium. People who can play those low brass instruments, right? That's the main focus. That's where we are locking on at this point. And also people who have, like, again, want to reiterate on the captain's words, that drive to excel, that drive to wear the uniform proudly, because the band is not something that is just from today or a couple years ago. It's something traditional. It's from the Commonwealth period. It's a legacy, yes. It's a legacy and its traditions. While we have the soldiers out there in the bush doing their part, we have our own part to do here in the community, which is to showcase our talent, to provide musical assistance when it comes to ceremonial stuff, regimental stuff, with the force at Price Barracks and countrywide, not just BDF, but police, Coast Guard, and anything that has to do with the government, So, and that also fills you with joy, that pride that you, not only serving your country uniform, but also with something you love, which is music. But to go back to the point is that, yes, we are looking for people who are multi-talented, of course fit, again, low brass instrument. Any other instrument is welcome, but primarily,
That's the one you're looking
yeah,
for.
those are the ones you're looking for. Okay.
So let's go back to the captain, and get your
his story.
Right. So my story is a little bit more traditional compared to Lance Corporal's story. So I was recruited based on a show similar to this. Came across the show. At that time, they were advertising the opportunity to become a pilot, which is something I had dreamt about. Like most young men, you dream of someday piloting an aircraft.
Yeah.
And so that's how I got caught. I came to the Defense Force not through a recruiting drive though. I came through an officer selection board, similar to the recruiting drive, but for officer cadets. So I came, got into the force, and then I went through the standard military training. So I did basic recruit training. I then went off to do my basic officer training. I came back to the Defense Force, to Belize, because officer training happened mostly outside of the country. And I did my 2 years infantry tour. So I did all the running around in the jungle with the rifle, which is the fun stuff, right? That's
First time, yeah.
That's when we play soldier. That's what we're playing. That's what we're imitating, and it was good. I enjoyed that portion of my life, of my career, and when that portion came to an end, I was eventually called over to a specialized unit, based on the academic background I had before I joined the Defense Force. Unfortunately, the dream of becoming a pilot was never realized, but I eventually, and I think there's some value in that story, in that the dream of becoming a pilot never materialized, but I was able to still do further training in engineering, and so I am now a specialized, an SME in the field of engineering. So even though plan A did not work, there's plan B. And even beyond that, even after I specialized in engineering, I still had the opportunity, I've had the opportunity to come back to the infantry, and so I deployed recently. That was an amazing opportunity. It's an opportunity that I'm sure will be available to future members of the force as well. It's the experience of a lifetime, and I did that as an infantry officer, not as an engineering officer. So there's a whole lot of opportunities, both within the specialized areas and in the infantry. For who don't know, or for who have not heard the term infantry before, that is your basic foot soldier. Those are the guys that are out doing the real business of the Defense Force, enforcing that primary mandate of maintaining territorial integrity. And all of us, all the specialized areas, we are really supporting them to get that job done effectively.
I have a question for you gentlemen. Perhaps for you it's a far way off, depending on your age and how far along you've been within the military. But have you guys considered life after the Belize Defense Force in terms of the various skills and qualifications that you would have been trained in during your stay or your time as a military officer?
Of course, of course. So as we speak, there is now, we refer to it colloquially as a professionalization of the Defense Force. I mean, the force has always been professional, but we are now moving to get these different specializations accredited. So for someone, for example, who wants to remain an infantry soldier his or her entire career, the promotional courses will all be accredited towards an associate's or a bachelor's degree. So that's what's in the process now. And the idea is that when a soldier leaves the force, because we leave fairly young, we retire fairly young. And the idea is that when we leave the force, our members are in a position to continue contributing in a different capacity as a civilian and get that gratification. They don't just retire and sit at home. You know, soldiers are active for the entirety of their careers, and so when we leave, it's very hard for us to just sit at home. And this is all in an effort to prepare soldiers to to have something else to do when they leave the force. And that qualification is mostly in the area of leadership and defense studies.
I can imagine that the Belize Defense Force has provided you all with several skills and disciplines in your years of service. But why should people be interested in becoming a member of the Belize Defense Force?
Let's start with you.
Yeah.
Well, again, just additions or reiteration to what the captain has said. It has opportunities. It brings opportunities. It also, besides opportunities, it gives you that mandate as a civilian, as a citizen of Belize. It gives you that pride to serve your country. But putting that aside, as mentioned, it gives opportunities. As we've heard, you can be a musician, you can be an engineer. If you like the jungle, you can stay in the jungle. But you don't have to. Once you serve your 2 years tour, in the other cases, you can come out of that and aspire to be an officer. You can aspire to be an engineer, aspire to be a mechanic. So you don't just work as a soldier, you also learn other skills that maybe out there you will have to work harder to attain. So in my perspective, joining the force, or why should people choose to join this job, is 1, civic pride, 2, opportunities, and 3, opportunities that you can take on, and maybe if you don't like it, or because you don't have to stay as a mechanic. You can be a mechanic, then you can transition to something else, maybe a driver, maybe a clerk, and learn stuff. You can learn stuff, that's what I'm saying, right? You just have to stay stagnant at one place. It's always a place where you can learn.
Is there an ideal age range for recruitment?
So if we look back at the flyer, there are some requirements there. So we're recruiting principally persons between the ages of 18 to 26.
Okay, so 30 is too late.
I wouldn't necessarily say so. Other bigger armies are now moving even beyond 30 for recruitment. But for us, we're recruiting between 18 and 26. In fact, it used to be 18 and 23. That recently changed to 26. And that is also in line with certain changes that have occurred, which the lengthening of the military service. So again, for persons who want to make it a lifelong career, that now is a bit more possible because the term has extended.
That's the reason I had asked that question initially, because as you mentioned earlier as well, the retirement age is a lot earlier than the average civilian who retires at 55 or 60 years old. But for those of you who would have gone through the entire system of qualifying yourself through the military, you come out and you have all of this knowledge. What do you then do, right? How do you go back into society and use what you've learned to further either a career in something else or to contribute positively to society?
Right. So exactly. So going back to your question, why does someone join the Defense Force? Well, like I said, there's the lifelong career-minded persons. The term has now been extended. So there's that for the persons who are looking forward to getting through it and then beyond. I would have to a certain extent borrow my experience at my age now, I know several members of the force who have retired, and walking around town I've bumped into a few of them. I have not met one who is displeased at being a retiree, so they're happy to now be at home with their family, but now with a real appreciation, and I have not met one who is displeased or discontented with the fact that they have served. Many of us during our time, we meet a lot of people within the country, we meet a lot of people. We make, inside the force itself, we make a lot of great friends. We see places within the country that we would not have seen otherwise. And so I go back to having met retirees and discussing with them, and I have yet to meet one who looks back on their time in the military and say, I absolutely did not enjoy it. You know, it really is an adventure from beginning to end. When like I said, in my own story, there came a point where I realized I was not going to be that pilot. And at that point I said to myself, I'll keep doing it until it stops being fun. And here I am 17 years in, wow. and I'm still going, Sure, some days I would rather be doing something else, but there are other times where I look back at the tough times and I was like, that's another adventure that I can add to the list.
Are there opportunities for upward mobility within the BDF? How do you get to captain?
Right. So, we're here recruiting principally enlisted,
of course,
persons. So the audience, our target audience, most of them won't be aspiring for captain. They will be aspiring for staff sergeant, sergeant major. Right. That's the rank bracket that they will be in, that they will be looking at. How do they get there? So once they're successful in this process, they're in the force, they're private soldiers now. They need to look at things like keeping their fitness up. They need to demonstrate that they have that little something more that will make them effective at that higher rank. And so the leadership at the companies, we call them companies, the units, the name is a company. The leadership at the companies will identify these young men and women who show that extra, and they will nominate them for promotional courses. They go on the promotional courses, pass, then they get their stripe, like the good Lance Corporal here. They get their stripe, and that's how they go up. With each stripe comes additional responsibilities, and it's amazing to see young men and women come in, bright-eyed, bushy-tail, have, for all intents and purposes, not much idea what they're getting into, but then watching them mature to sergeants. So I would have seen young men and women come in as recruits, private soldiers, and they're now sergeants, and seeing them handle themselves, seeing them command or call out the time on parade, and really do strut their stuff. It's that for me is rewarding, and I'm sure they feel quite rewarded as well.
So as we're coming down to the end of our conversation, just kindly remind our viewers when is the deadline for the applications to be submitted and how they can apply for both.
Right, so the applications are open now. They've been open since last week. Go scan the QR code, fill the online form. The recruitment date is on 11 July, so we will be closing the online forms on July the 10th, so that the lists are all printed and available at the stations on July the 11th. Okay. Once the recruitment day is completed, as mentioned before, 4 events: aptitude tests, medical pre-screening, psychological pre-screening, and physical assessment.
Wonderful.
They wait. We will reach out and communicate to the shortlisted candidates.
All right. It says ensure your phone is active and accessible so that you can get that call.
Right. Also, on July 11th, all these, like we said, the Defense Force is looking towards the future. These assessments will be done on an online platform. And so we ask that the candidates who turn up on 11th July come with a mobile device with data and attire for a physical exam.
Wonderful. Excellent. Gentlemen, thank you so much for joining us this morning, and best of luck with your recruits. I hope that you get many applications. Thank you all.
Thank you very much.
All right, we are going to take a quick break and we'll be back with more Open Your Eyes, so don't go away.
at Fulltech Systems understand that technology isn't just a tool, it's a game changer. At home, smart devices and AI are revolutionizing daily life. In education, tech is making learning more interactive and accessible for students and educators alike. For businesses and government, it's driving innovation, streamlining operations, and unlocking growth, leveraging tech for better services, infrastructure, and security. At Fulltech Systems, we help you thrive with cutting-edge solutions, partnering with leaders like Dell, HP, Microsoft, APC, Fortinet, Cisco, and Tomy. We deliver the right products for your needs, whether it's boosting efficiency, improving customer engagement, or scaling operations. Connect with us and let's drive innovation together. Fulltech Systems, your technology center, where you come for the price, but stay for the service.
Benny's is kicking off Father's Day with popping deals for dad. In the month of June, visit a Benny's store near you and get store-wide discounts on select items such as Milwaukee and Axie power tools, Charbroil barbecue grills, car care products, Karcher pressure washers, Sankey smart TVs, gym equipment, and much, much more. Make dad happy with popping deals for dad in June, only at Benny's.
Benny's, Benny's, oh, Benny's, 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 oh.
They're not just cigarette, vape, hookah, cigar, and all kind of tobacco product, Lego, dangerous smoke, and toxic chemical. When you smoke or vape, that cloud they not disappear. It turn into second-hand smoke and third-hand smoke where people wrong your breathing. That kind of smoke that could cause cancer, diabetes, lungs disease, and heart problems. It could kill anybody who get exposed to it. If you smoke or vape, go outside, far from people. Everybody deserves to breathe clean air.
He skipped nights out. Said maybe next time too often. Ramen became a lifestyle. All for this moment, his first car. Protect what you've worked for with RF&G Motor Insurance.
The biggest football event in the world is finally here, and Smart is giving you the chance to play and win. Before every match starts, predict who will win. The more predictions you make, the more chances you have to win. Get 1 point towards your total when you guess the winning team. Predict the exact score and earn up to 4 points. The top scorer at the conclusion of the World Cup wins the grand prize of $2,500 in cash. That's not all. Players get a chance to win weekly prizes. Plus, our quarter-final winner gets a watch party package. Play directly in the Smart app for just 50 cents per entry. Prediction starts June 1st to July 18, 2026. Don't just watch the World Cup. Play along and win with Smart. Smart, bringing people together.
Introducing BB Insurance, built for Belize. Your security, our priority.
When your baby feels comfortable, you feel confident. Because every little moment deserves protection you can trust. Cushkin's diapers are designed with ultra-absorbent layers that lock in leaks while staying soft, dry, and gentle on delicate skin. So your baby can play freely, and you can enjoy every smile without worry. Cushkin's diapers, comfort they feel, protection you trust. Cushkin's diapers and wipes are available countrywide at a supermarket near you.
The biggest football event in the world is finally here, and Smart is giving you the chance to play and win. Before every match starts, predict who will win. The more predictions you make, the more chances you have to win. Get 1 point towards your total when you guess the winning team. Predict the exact score and earn up to 4 points. The top scorer at the conclusion of the World Cup wins the grand prize of $2,500 in cash. That's not all. Players get a chance to win weekly prizes. Plus, our quarter-final winner gets a watch party package. Play directly in the Smart app for just 50 cents per entry. Prediction starts June 1st to July 18, 2026. Don't just watch the World Cup. Play along and win with Smart. Smart, bringing people together.
The next station is not just a place. It's the vacation capital of the world, Mexican Caribbean. Do you know why we are the capital of vacations? Because no other place on earth brings together so many ways to vacation in one single destination. Every vacation imaginable. Mexican Caribbean, the vacation capital.
He skipped nights out, said maybe next time too often. Ramen became a lifestyle, all for this moment, his first car. Protect what you've worked for with RF&G Motor Insurance.
Running a business means every dollar counts.
As a business owner, you face different challenges every day. You need cash flow on hand as soon as you can.
With Belize Bank's same-day settlement, transactions settled by 4 p.m. are credited the very same night.
The same-day settlement will definitely make a difference for my business because I know I have money in the bank so I can pay my suppliers, my staff, etc.
Faster access to your funds, better cash flow, greater control. And with auto settlement, it's done for you every day. Same-day settlement from Belize Bank. Our country, your bank.
We at Fulltech Systems understand that technology isn't just a tool, it's a game changer. At home, smart devices and AI are revolutionizing daily life. In education, tech is making learning more interactive and accessible for students and educators alike. For businesses and government, it's driving innovation, streamlining operations, and unlocking growth, leveraging tech for better services, infrastructure, and security. At Fulltech Systems, we help you thrive with cutting-edge solutions, partnering with leaders like Dell, HP, Microsoft, APC, Fortinet, Cisco, and Tomy8. We deliver the right products for your needs, whether it's boosting efficiency, improving customer engagement, or scaling operations. Connect with us and let's drive innovation together. Fulltech Systems, your technology center, where you come for the price, but stay for the service.
Benny's is kicking off Father's Day with popping deals for dad. In the month of June, visit a Benny's store near you and get store-wide discounts on select items such as Milwaukee and Axie power tools, Charbroil barbecue grills, car care products, Karcher pressure washers, Sankey smart TVs, gym equipment, and much, much more. Make dad happy with popping deals for dad in June, only at Benny's.
Benny's, Benny's, oh, Benny's, 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 oh.
They're not just cigarette, vape, hookah, cigar, and all kind of tobacco product, Lego, dangerous smoke, and toxic chemical. When you smoke or vape, that cloud they not disappear. It turn into second-hand smoke and third-hand smoke where people wrong your breathing. That kind of smoke that could cause cancer, diabetes, lungs disease, or heart problems. It could kill anybody who get exposed to it. If you smoke or vape, go outside, far from people. Everybody deserves to breathe clean air.
He skipped nights out, said maybe next time too often. Ramen became a lifestyle, all for this moment, his first car. Protect what you've worked for with RF&G Motor Insurance.
The biggest biggest football event in the world is finally here, and Smart is giving you the chance to play and win. Before every match starts, predict who will win. The more predictions you make, the more chances you have to win. Get 1 point towards your total when you guess the winning team. Predict the exact score and earn up to 4 points. The top scorer at the conclusion of the World Cup wins the grand prize of $2,500 in cash. That's not all. Players get a chance to win weekly prizes. Plus, our quarterfinal winner gets a watch party package. Play directly in the Smart app for just 50 cents per entry. Prediction starts June 1st to July 18, 2026. Don't just watch the World Cup. Play along and win with Smart. Smart, bringing people together.
Back to Open Your Eyes and joining us for our final conversation. We're joined in on Zoom by our judges of KTV The Remix Season 8. And on the screen with us, we have Tremette Perriott, Andazi Panton, and Denise Castillo. Good morning.
Good morning. Good
Good
morning.
morning, guys. Good morning.
All right, but it's still no.
Yeah.
So just for a recap, we know that we're going to be playing the audition show that's scheduled for tomorrow night. But for you all that have been avid judges for the past 2 to 3 seasons, what has the audition experience been like for you? Let's start with you, Tremette.
Well, it's been interesting to say the least. This is a karaoke show, not a professional vocalist show. So there's a difference in expectation for the people. I mean, they can, what I've seen, what I've heard is that people take our advice very hard to their hearts, and they go home and work. Well, some of them, so can't argue. So I've found great inspiration in some of these artists as they've grown through the years now. I can't complain about it at all. And it's fun.
Yeah, well, yes, I am like this is one of those moments where because you all are artists. You yourself, Tremette, you come from a long line of vocal families. So I would imagine very, very. I don't want to use the word harsh. I think I would even go to the extent of saying, like, Simon from America's Got Talent. I feel like
I'm
you're
not
the
that
Simon.
rough, man. I'm not that rough.
I imagine. Yes, go ahead.
The purpose isn't to insult people and to make them feel less. The idea is to inspire them to want to be better and give them tips on how to improve as well, no?
Yeah.
So,
How do you
inspire the ones at home. There's some kid out there, right, Isani?
Yes.
There's some child out there looking through the TV and saying, okay, I can do this, and I can listen, I can pick up on what the judges are telling these people and go and practice it and come out and be better. I think that's what we need to happen.
But here's my question for you, Tremette, or for any of the other judges joined in at this point. I mean, some of these performances are excellent and exceptional, and others you have to scratch your head and be like, okay, what did I just hear, right? How do you maintain some balance in your critique of these performances?
You want to answer that, Tiff, or just?
Sorry, I didn't hear the question. Can you repeat?
So I was saying, Andazi, that some performances are exceptional, right? And some are, for want of a better word, pretty atrocious, right? But you guys as judges have to find some middle ground in terms of your critique of these performances. Let's get your thoughts.
Right. Listen, I mean, it's karaoke TV, right? So sometimes you're gonna get people who are, who are aspiring artists, who are serious about their craft. Sometimes you're just gonna get people who love karaoke, who have a little bit of talent, and then sometimes you get people who are singing karaoke at home and nobody's really telling them, that maybe they need maybe to work on a little more vocal ability. But I think the show is like a mixture of fun and professionalism, so it's okay for people if they want to have a little fun, but they do have to take the show seriously. And it's interesting because throughout my entire career, I've seen people come in who start their journey as a professional artist who don't have all the vocal ability that you would like, but they're serious about it and they work on it and they take feedback and they actually become, pretty decent singers.
Yeah.
So for me, I'm always just looking for if they have the drive, if they can really have the I don't know if you want to call it stamina, but maybe the mindset to go through a competition on live TV.
Yeah.
Because it's a lot more than you
easy.
think it is. Yeah, so if you're passionate about what you're doing, so sometimes some people might be like, oh, people can't sing, but it's more than that you're looking for. Some people are performers, some people just love what they do, and it's possible to improve over time. So I just look for what's positive, what can work, people that I see have potential, and then, I'm okay with that as well.
I find that whenever I'm listening to the auditions or whenever I'm watching KTV, there's a lot more, like Andazi, you said, than just the singing. There is that performative aspect, that stage presence. And a lot of the times, these are the participants' first time, right? They're trying to break out of their shell and do something different and fun, but maybe they are not confident enough to do an entire performance because, like you said, it's TV. How do you all advise them that it's beyond just the singing, that you have to take up the stage and you have to make the audience love you?
Oh, that's a practice in brute force and ignorance. You have to you spend time in front of the mirror. It's just the nature of the game. You have to listen to yourself. You have to record yourself both visually and auditorily, so you can hear and see how you look. And I often tell people that we have this, I call it the matrix syndrome, where our perception of self is different than the reality of ourselves. So, I'll give you an example. You ever record your voice and then listen to it and say, that song, I sung stupid?
I don't like the sound of my own voice.
Right, that's the perception. What we think.
Yeah, okay.
Okay, so we lost Tremet there for a second.
Yeah, I think his...
But this is my quick take.
Sorry about that, I got booted.
Go ahead, Tremet.
What we think we sound like versus what we really sound like is drastically different, and we have to get comfortable with hearing and seeing what we really look like and sound like. And to do that on stage, especially with the Belizean critics,
rough.
It requires a lot of internal fortitude. And what I try to tell young and up and coming artists, get your practice in. Practice properly and perfectly and record yourself. So when you get on stage, your nerves, it doesn't matter, everything is muscle memory. Right? You've been in the routine of doing certain things so that when you do get up on stage, you perform. A lot of people ask me, why anytime we have performance, I see you to walk up and down the stage? Well, that's me going through the processes in my head of how I will move on a stage. We don't do it to the level that other professional artists in the world do it, but we don't get paid as much as them to do it.
So here's my 2 cents, right? I think that for anyone who's aspiring to be a part of this competition and go on to win the competition, you have to present not only an artistic image, but you also have to embody the craft, right? In other words, we're saying that when you take that stage every Tuesday night, you have to sound the part, you have to look the part, and you basically have to work the stage. And working the stage means you have to engage the audience, You have to present the entire package. I say that because there are oftentimes you have people who simply stand up and sing versus those who are entertaining. Two different things. What are your takes on that?
Listen, there's nothing wrong with just stand up and sing because there is a power in that as well. You know what I mean? But I mean, Tremet couldn't have said it better overall, about, looking at yourself in the mirror and, pacing on stage. Those are techniques that you don't know if you're not an artist or you haven't studied at some level of the craft, right? So there is nothing wrong with just standing and performing because what you need to learn with that is standing in your power. You know what I mean? And projecting that to the audience. So it takes practice. It takes even knowing that technique, And some people want to be jumping around all over the stage, and some people just want to stand in their power, and it's just a different style.
Yeah. You know who does standing in their power extremely well? J Class.
Oh yes, because he has his guitar.
Yeah, but even without the guitar, he fills up space in his presence when he's just standing in place. His head movements and the little things that he does takes up a lot of space, and it keeps the attention focused on him, and he's exceptional at it. You have other artists who do the same thing who are very, very good. Some need to consistently be moving, and that's just their personality, and nothing is wrong with that as well. However, I find that you have to be careful. Oliver Samuels told me this one time. Be mindful of the crowd. Don't let the crowd move you. You move the crowd.
When you say Oliver Samuels, are you referring to the good old Jamaican comedian that we all love and grew up on?
I think that's who he means, yes.
You're still a bit Tremet?
I think his internet dropped, but I think I wanted to get into the auditions themselves, because we have the audition show that's airing tomorrow night, and we are looking forward to seeing who the participants are, what the auditions were like. But what were the auditions like for you as a judge, and what were you really looking for?
The auditions are always a fun time, We're judges, but I'm not really there to judge anyone. I'm really just there to give them feedback, advice. So for me, even if I don't think that someone is going to make it on the show, I give them feedback and advice. And, what I'm looking for is confidence, talent, the fortitude, somebody who has the personality, because, as Tremet said earlier, it's one thing to want to start to be an artist or even a performer, and you get on stage and you have to deal with the people on stage. But with KTV, you're also dealing with tens of thousands of people at home, and it's a lot to deal with, especially if you're just learning. So I'm also looking for a personality that can handle that. People who love what they're doing, who are having fun. And things like that.
So I know you can't tell us, because I know you
enjoy the moment.
Yes, I know who make it on the stage, and I know I can't tell way. But what can we expect for KTV season 8? As the audience, what can we expect?
I think it'll be good. I think we have some good vocalists, and I think the show will be dynamic, to say the least.
All right, sit down and tell me nothing. That's good.
That was for me, yeah. I don't want to give me a whole
proof is in being vague, man. Lad. Keep people inspired.
Well, I know Tremet and Aze, thank you all so much, and of course we always look forward to seeing you on KTV The Remix. And tomorrow night is the audition show, so we are going to be getting a preview of what we can expect for season 8. So the show airs tomorrow, June 30th at 8 p.m. right after the news finishes. So locked in tomorrow. Thank you all so much for joining us this morning.
Take care.
All right, we're going to take a quick break. I'll be back to wrap things up, so don't go anywhere.
Full-Tech Systems understand that technology isn't just a tool, it's a game changer. At home, smart devices and AI are revolutionizing daily life. In education, tech is making learning more interactive and accessible for students and educators alike. For businesses and government, it's driving innovation, streamlining operations, and unlocking growth, leveraging tech for better services, infrastructure, and security. At Full-Tech Systems, we help you thrive with cutting-edge solutions, partnering with leaders like Dell, HP, Microsoft, APC, Fortinet, Cisco, and Tomy Inc. We deliver the right products for your needs, whether it's boosting efficiency, improving customer engagement, or scaling operations. Connect with us and let's drive innovation together. Full-Tech Systems, your technology center, where you come for the price, but stay for the service.
Benny's is kicking off Father's Day with popping deals for dad. In the month of June, visit a Benny's store near you and get store-wide discounts on select items such as Milwaukee and Axie power tools, Charbroil barbecue grills, car care products, Karcher pressure washers, Sankey smart TVs, gym equipment, and much, much more. Make dad happy with popping deals for dad in June, only at Benny's.
Benny's, Benny's, oh, Benny's, 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 oh.
They're not just cigarette, vape, hookah, cigar, and all kind of tobacco product, Lego, dangerous smoke, and toxic chemical. When you smoke or vape, that cloud they not disappear. It turn into second-hand smoke and third-hand smoke where people wrong your breathing. That kind of smoke that could cause cancer, diabetes, lungs disease, and heart problems. It could kill anybody who get exposed to it. If you smoke or vape, go outside, far from people. Everybody deserves to breathe clean air.
He skipped nights out. Said maybe next time too often. Ramen became a lifestyle. All for this moment, his first car. Protect what you've worked for with RF&G Motor Insurance.
The biggest football event in the world is finally here, and Smart is giving you the chance to play and win. Before every match starts, predict who will win. The more predictions you make, the more chances you have to win. Get 1 point towards your total when you guess the winning team. Predict the exact score and earn up to 4 points. The top scorer at the conclusion of the World Cup wins the grand prize of $2,500 in cash. That's not all. Players get a chance to win weekly prizes. Plus, our quarter-final winner gets a watch party package. Play directly in the Smart app for just 50 cents per entry. Prediction starts June 1st to July 18, 2026. Don't just watch the World Cup. Play along and win with Smart. Smart, bringing people together.
All right, welcome back and thank you for sticking with us. We are closing off Monday morning.
Yes, we are.
It was a good show, and we want to say a big thank you to all of our guests that came in. You know, we had ECVI on the couch with us with Maria Call.
Yes.
It was a great conversation about not just blindness, Isane, but different abilities overall. And I thought that was a great conversation to start Monday. And of course, we were joined by our friends from the Belize Defense Force for the recruitment drive, where I believe applications will close July 10th, and then recruitment day is the 11th, right? So you want to be locked into the BDF Facebook pages and so forth for any way of finding out how you can apply and more information about that if you're interested. And then we ended off our show with the KTV Season 8 judges. The audition show is tomorrow, Tuesday night at 8 p.m. So you don't want to miss that. Just to give you a little bit of a sneak peek as to what to expect for KTV Season 8. But we also want to say a big thank you to you, our viewers, because without you, this show would not be possible. It is almost coming down to June, it is June 29th today.
Almost an amount.
Almost
People don't get paid.
an amount. Yes. But if it is your birthday today, happy birthday to you. And if you have a birthday shout out or just a question or a comment, you can send us an email at oye@greaterbelize.com. You can also catch us on live on Facebook at Open Your Eyes BZ. Check out our highlights on Instagram at OYE And of course, I know for our avid TikTok fans, we have TikTok as well. It's openyoureyes.bz. And hey, if you want to call us or text us, you can WhatsApp us at 675-2555. But please join us again tomorrow, Tuesday, when you open your eyes.
To start your morning right.
Till then, keep your eyes, your minds,
and your hearts open.
Have a wonderful Monday, Belize. Good morning and goodbye.
Open Your Eyes was brought to you by the Belize Bank, our country, your bank, and Smart, bringing people together.